What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Hope you guys are all having a great day, because today we're taking a look at the Roces M12 skate. Before I go much further, I just want to add a little disclaimer and be totally transparent with all my viewers that these skates were actually provided to me by Roces. They were gracious enough to send them over to me just for review. I do have two other pairs, but you know, they wanted me to review the most recent pair. So thank you so much, Roces. I really appreciate your support for this channel. All right, so here it is, the Roces M12 Tide skate. Really, straight off the bat, there's not much different about this skate than any of the other Roces M12 low boots. Really, it's just the colorway, which I think is absolutely fantastic. This is one of my favorite looking M12s I've seen to date. The main thing that actually separates these skates from any of the other M12 low skates is the fact that Roces is going for a whole recycle and eco-friendly way of producing skates nowadays. As you can see here, the reduce, reuse, recycle with the Roces logo, pretty awesome design. States that, you know, they're really trying to push being eco-friendly and, you know, using recycled materials, which I think is a great thing. Let me run you through the materials that these are made out of. The shell and cuff are 50% polyurethane, 47% cornstarch, and 3% color. The sole plates are 97% recycled polyamide, 3% color. Frame is 82% polyamide and 15% glass fiber and 3% color. The anti-rocker wheels are 97% recycled PVC, and the liner padding is 100% recycled polyurethane, which is just insane to me. So yeah, they're really taking a huge step to try to squeeze as much recycled material into these skates. So without further ado, let's just do a nice overview of the skate for you real quick. Starting at the top, we got the buckle. This buckle right here is hands down my favorite buckle of any inline skates ever, period. And let me tell you why. This buckle is called the memory buckle. I believe Roces actually has a patent on this. Not 100% sure, but I think so, because I haven't seen this on any other skates. The reason it's called a memory buckle is because with this buckle, so basically you figure out how tight you want your skate, and then when you want to take it off again, you'd never have to really push on this to release this part. All you do is flip this part open, and then you're just gonna slide this part out, and then boom. You're basically, you're still locked in on this side, but you can just open and close it now, get in and out with your skate at the exact tightness level that you want, which I am 100% fan of. Brackets that just slide right in the buckle, you slide it back, and then lock it in. On top of that, this whole buckle right here is all metal. Love me some metal buckles. They just hold up for so long, especially on an aggressive boot where you're sliding on them and whatnot. The cuff has a nice buckle protector, which is nice to help, you know, alleviate some of that sliding on the buckle. And then as well as the other side on the cuff, where the buckle goes in, it just goes into the cuff, so it's not hanging out on the other side where it can get caught in between your skates. That is the buckle, and basically the cuff. The only other thing on the cuff, as you can see right here, is the nice little M12 logo right there. Let's move on down the boot. So the next thing to keep your foot in this boot is the laces right here. The eyelets are nice full metal eyelets. The laces, while they look nice, they're pretty lightweight. Like I say in all my videos, I always replace the laces on skates. I would recommend doing it on these ones just because there is no 45-degree strap on this skate. And so you're really relying on your laces to suck that foot back and heel down into the heel cup area of your boot. Replacing these laces with some like nice waxed hockey laces. One, they're gonna look better because they're thicker and they're just matte and awesome looking. But two, they're gonna hold a lot better. So once you tighten that up, they're not gonna start slipping on you. As we keep going down the boot, one of the main reasons I like this skate is the look. And this lower part of the boot is actually the same mold as used in the classic rollerblade lightning skates, as well as I believe the Zetra 303s, probably a couple other skates that I'm not thinking of right now, but same mold. It's just such a classic boot, very narrow and just lightweight, and some things don't need to be changed, I believe, and this is one of them. I think it's just a beautiful, beautiful skate that Rollerblade got right in their molds many years ago. Below that, we have our sole plate. Nothing super fancy about this sole plate, pretty standard. The only thing I will say as a kind of a negative is the fact that if I flip it this way, your positive side sole plate is decent amount, you can lock stuff, I'm totally fine with that. But your negative side is so barely there, I can't do negatives on these skates. I know some people that can, they literally just bend their foot over and they're more on their frame than their sole plate with them. Wish I had a little more negative sole on these sole plates, as well as a tiny bit more positive sole on these sole plates, just because these frames are fine, but when you do get a taller frame, such as the Wish, when you try to get boot down on a trick, you really have to go pretty far down. So on these, not too bad. These frames work well with this sole plate, but on a Wish frame where you're a little higher off the ground, you go over, you really have to get to about there before you're actually boot down. It would be awesome to have even a different option sole plate, like a wide body kit sole plate from Roces come out. I would love that just as an option, because I love the narrow boot and the fit. I just wish I had a little bit more locking space for my grinds. Moving on down, let's jump into the frames. So these are the just classic Roces frames that come on all of their aggressive skates. I believe these were originally the Valo frames, and they haven't really changed since Valo days. I actually am a big fan of these frames. I think they are very classic. When I say classic, they don't try to do anything special. They have a very classic H-block shallow groove here, similar spacing on wheels. You know, it's just low to the ground, doesn't accept anything bigger than a 60 millimeter wheel, I believe. These are great frames for grinder blading. I mean, they're not the best, but they are definitely a solid frame to roll on. If we jump down to the wheels now, as you can see, this is what's called an anti-rocker setup, meaning that only the two outside wheels are rolling, and in the middle here you can see that there's two wheels, but these are actually just plastic PVC hard, just the same as basically the frame. So what that does, if you don't know, is when you're on a rail, you don't have to be on perfect. If you kind of get over here, you could slide on that wheel part, and that wheel's gonna keep you in and not allow you to slide over to the actual wheel and way out of whack. It gives you a little bit more ability to mess up on a grind and not stick and get thrown off the ledge or rail. I'm really big fan of the fact that they are setting this up as an anti-rocker skate coming straight out of the box, just because I think people that are getting aggressive skates are more looking to get into aggressive skates so they can do grinds on them. And this is the best setup for this frame to do grinds. That being said, I do like this frame as a flat frame setup. So basically if I took two more of these wheels and replaced these two center anti-rockers with the same wheels all the way across, so that the skate is skating on 4 flat, just because I like skating flat. I prefer it over anti-rocker. I'm just basically throwing it out there. I think these frames can go both flat and anti-rocker. Talking about the wheels now, these are 58 millimeter 88A wheels. I haven't had any issues with these wheels. I think they're a solid wheel to start on. Inside these wheels are ABEC 5 bearings. For a grinder blader setup, I don't think you need anything much more than an ABEC 5 bearing, because really all you're doing is getting a little bit of speed up to a rail or a ledge, jumping on it, landing, rolling away a little bit, and stopping, doing it again. ABEC 5s I think are totally fine for this setup. One quick thing I want to note about this boot is the fact that it is a raised heel boot, which means underneath in this area, it actually is flat here, and then behind the sole frame, it actually comes up under your heel. So your heel's actually raised up a little bit. This sole plate actually flattens it out so it can accept a flat UFS frame to it. Some people really don't like that because it takes away the area to put in like a shock absorber, or just the fact they don't like to be kind of raised up as they're skating. They like to be flat. I have been skating on a raised heel skate for so long that I actually prefer this. I feel like when I skate on a flat boot that I feel like I'm falling backwards. Just wanted you to know that this boot is a raised heel boot. So that is the full outside part of the skate. Let's jump into the liner. So we got the liner out here. From first look, it looks very similar to all the other liners from the M12. You know, the same kind of pleathery outside material, nice thick padding, which is just real. It's a really comfortable liner, to be honest. I really like it. The fit is nice. The handle right here is one of the beefiest, sweetest handles I have ever seen on a liner. It's a great strap. The only thing I would say about this strap is any skate strap, it might be reinforced, but I would not pull your skates up with this. I would always reach for the heels and pull your skates on your feet, just so that you don't rip the stitching out. I just hold my skates from the strap. The tongue is nice and stiff, really, really nice tongue. Nice, lots of padding, same padding as around the back. As we go down the tongue, there's a nice, what I call 45-degree straps to hold that tongue in place. And then if you go to the front here, it has a nice little neoprene toe box here, which is great for kind of when you're in between sizes. You can size down, and then that extra room can kind of push your toes through here to kind of relieve that pressure. That's pretty much it with the liner, but let's jump inside and grab the insole here. All right, so here is the insole. So right off the bat, what I'm noticing is it's pretty thick, but it's nice and it's pretty stiff. I think it's about the same stiffness as the other M12 insoles. I like it when there's enough to give you cushion, but it's not super soft and gonna hurt your foot or make your foot ache after a while because it's, you know, not supportive at all. If you flip it over here, there's a nice little foam heel pad here. If you add this part and this part together, you know, it gives you a little bit of a shock absorber, but I would love to see a rubber heel pad in these. Probably better shock absorption than just, you know, some foam. But I think they look like a pretty decent insole, to be honest. It's coming straight out of a stock skate. One other thing about these liners is I really love the heel locking area. I can't really show you, but down in here, it's just a really nice heel lock down inside the liner. So that's the overview of the skate. Let's put them back together, strap up, and get out there and start rolling. All right, so what do I think about these Roces M12 skates? Well, spoiler alert, I have to say I love them. These are the go-to skates for me if I'm skating aggressive. But that being said, they're not for everyone. Let me explain, starting with the pros. First off, these skates are lightweight, they are high quality, and they are durable. Ever since they came back out a few years back, plastic has been updated so they're super sturdy, durable. They are still lightweight because they're just very basic streamlined skate, and everything on them is high quality, which leads me into my next point. They have the best buckle on the market. It's beautiful. It's heavy duty. The actual buckle part is full metal. When you put it in once and get the rivets into the right notch, you never have to count the clicks again. You just open it up on the other side, slide the thing out, and you are basically ready to go. It's super quick and easy. It's strong, it's robust. It's a beautiful thing. Inside, it comes stock with a great high quality liner that's both comfy and functional. Not many skates on the aggressive market, unless you're spending well over $300, are coming with anything that's halfway decent in them for a liner. I really enjoy these liners in the Roces M12s. That being said, they are definitely made for a narrow foot. So if your foot is just a little bit wider than like super narrow, you may want to replace this liner with an Intuition liner to give yourself a little more room in this skate. And like I just said, these skates are for narrow feet. And if you have a narrow foot, these skates fit like a glove. I love it. There's just something about finding a skate that fits your foot perfect. It just hugs it in every part. Just gives you a sense of security and control, especially in aggressive skating, where every millimeter counts when you're trying to lace those grind tricks or send those airs and, you know, land just ever so perfect in those boots. There's something to be said about a well-fitting pair of skates. I think these skates are some of the best looking skates on the market, and the reason is because they're a classic shell. These are the same mold as used by the rollerblade Lightnings back in the early 90s, and you know, some things don't need to change. The only thing they really added to these skates is a nice sole plate so they can make them aggressive and fit UFS frames. There's just something so beautiful about the shape and streamline and just minimalism of this skate boot. And the last pro only really goes with the most recent model, which I was skating here, which are the Tide M12s. And that is because Roces decided to go eco-friendly and use as many recycled materials to create these skates as they possibly can. No other company I know of is doing this with skates, and I think that's a great thing to do. So those are the pros in my opinion. Let's get to the cons. So the first con, they are a narrow boot, and with that comes two things that could be bad. One, if you have a medium to wide foot, these aren't the skates for you. They're not gonna fit. They're gonna put your foot to sleep and they're gonna hurt, so don't even try. The second, if you do have a narrow foot, the problem is a narrow boot means a narrow sole plate. This sole plate has virtually a non-existent negative plate and a pretty narrow regular sole plate, outside sole plate. So I would say these aren't the best for beginners that are getting into aggressive, because locking onto rails and grinds is just that much harder with a little bit less sole plate. That being said, the plus side to that, I know these aren't positives, but the plus side to having a little bit more of a narrow sole plate is when you're grinding sole grinds on ledges, you can actually lean over the edge a little bit more and not slide off. It's a bit of a give and take. I wish there was an option that Roces made for these skates that was a wide body sole kit for these. Please, Roces, please hear this video and create something like that. I think there's so many people that would purchase that sole plate kit in an instant. Next up, I think a 45-degree strap of some kind would be a nice addition to these skates, just so that you can, you know, really strap that down and get that heel sucked down to that heel cup. It's not the end of the world. My heel doesn't move around in my skates really, so as long as you have the right size, I think you're fine and you're really cinching down those laces. But you know, a 45-degree strap could be nice on these skates, I think. Another nice to have would just be the ability to remove the cuffs for two reasons. One, if for some reason the cuff snaps or broken in some way, you don't have to replace the whole boot. The second reason, and the bigger reason that I personally want replaceable cuffs, is because I think there's an aftermarket modding community that would love to mix and match the cuffs, boots, and sole plates, the colors. And you can't do that right now unless you want to take a drill and literally drill out the rivet of the cuff. So please, Roces, if you can do that on the upcoming M12 boots, I think that would be a huge plus for you guys, as well as a huge plus for the whole community to, you know, just be creative with their skates and ride the exact skate they want to ride. I also think that you could also sell a ton of different colors for replacement parts or just, you know, upgrades to mod the boot. The next con is the fact that this boot is a raised heel boot. Some people that skate aggressive really don't like that. The only reason I don't like that is because you can't put a shock absorber under your heel, which for me, getting older, hurts my knees, my ankles, my lower back, you name it. Not having a shock absorber just really kind of stinks. All right, that's it for the cons. Who are these skates for? I'm gonna say these skates are for all aggressive skaters with a narrow foot. Who these skates aren't for would be the aggressive skater with the wide foot, as well as those of you that are beginner skaters. The fact that they have such a narrow sole plate, they might not be the best boot of choice for you guys because it might be a little tougher to learn grind tricks with such a narrow sole plate. So if you're looking for an amazing classic looking aggressive skate that performs amazingly and you have a narrow foot, look no further than the M12s. For a good fit, I always recommend getting your shoe size in these skates. I'm just a big fan of the Roces M12 skate. They aren't perfect, but they fit my foot like a glove, and that's almost more important than some of their downfalls to me, because on the aggressive market, you don't find a lot of narrow boots. And when you have a narrow foot and you're really trying to squeeze out every ounce of performance in a skate, you need a narrow boot. So for me, these are the closest thing to being perfect for aggressive skates as I can get. And that's why I'm giving these skates a rating of 3.75 wheels out of 4. If you guys have any questions about these skates, please feel free to ask it in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you ring that bell so you don't miss any of these uploads. If you guys want to take one step further and support this channel and myself, I got a couple ways to do that. I have a merch store. There's a link in the description below where you can pick up some t-shirts and stickers. I also have a list of recommended products in my description below. These are all Amazon affiliate links, so if you're doing any shopping on Amazon and any of these products are something you're gonna buy anyways, please click through those links because I will get a kickback. And the last thing is I have a Patreon account, so if you guys want to just go over and be on my 30+Rollin team, please do that. It really helps me out. If you guys can help out in any of these ways, thank you so much. I am more than grateful for that. It just helps keep this channel going. All the money I get from it's just gonna get funneled right back into the channel so I can go places, buy new equipment, try new things, you name it. It's just going to help this channel out and hopefully create better content for all you guys out there. So thanks again. But yeah, like I always say, until next time guys, just keep rolling.